All right, all right. Try this again. Sometimes it mutes me, and sometimes it takes the mute off. But I guess it didn't take the mute off this time. But all right, big up. Thank you, Lee Wizkid. And big up to Dustin. Big up to Nems, who was here super early, but I appreciate it because apparently I had I'd made the episode, but I didn't put a time in for it, and it must have posted it to YouTube early this morning and not have put it as a later in the afternoon show or evening show for those of you joining me in Europe. But we are live and direct. Definitely big up to all the Reds, big up to all the rivals, and big up to the neutrals joining us for this one to hear how we're going to break down this preview of, I think, a very big match, by the way. I think a very big match. And it is something that we have to definitely break down, chop up. We might have some others joining us in this episode, but if not, you just have to deal with the solo on the promo, I guess. And that is me. And we'll break it down as best we can, or at least I'll try to do that for you. You know how I do my homework. So I've definitely done a couple of the things by looking at who's available, what the interviews have been saying. I haven't seen the Curtis Jones interview that I saw in the chat being mentioned, but I certainly will check that out. It took me a few minutes to get ready for you guys, only because there is something I did see that I wanted to do. I wanted to do with you guys, which is have a little a fun little. It's a quiz, but it's not a. It's one of those it's not like you got to know certain dates or something like that. It's just about players. Double agents, we'll call them. So yeah, big up. And yeah, pressure is on us for tomorrow. There's a bit of history that we could probably see be unveiled as well tomorrow. And a fixture that simply refuses to behave. And what I mean by behave is there have been quite a number of fouls associated, meaning yellows and cards, if not red cards associated with this game. So Tottenham versus Liverpool isn't just another Premier League game. It's the highest scoring fixture in the history of the competition. That is something incredible to say. Two clubs, two managers under scrutiny right now. One with a little bit less scrutiny under his collar, but certainly still some scrutiny to have to wait out of. We're 5 games unbeaten, so that makes it a little bit easier to navigate the press conferences and the likes. But it doesn't mean that he's out of the woods yet, and I'm talking about our manager, Arne Slot. Thomas Frank finds himself in his own bit of hot water himself, as in Spurs are an interesting bunch when it comes to sometimes their loyalties but I can understand some of it being that they're a team or a fan base, I should say, that has had a bunch to have to, I wouldn't say way over, but like get over or have to wade through themselves. So we are going to break this down. Two teams who, for very different reasons, need this result. And we're going to break this down as best we can. So big up to everyone that's joining us. Can the difference between a win or a loss be the difference between Szoboszlai starts or not? I don't think it's that simple. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think that Dom Szoboszlai has been immense for us this summer, or this season, excuse me. He's been immense. And I think the same way that we've overcome adversities without Mohamed Salah, we can overcome obstacles when our best players play or don't play. This team has done it time and time again, even before the Dominic Szoboszlai era that Liverpool fans are starting to embrace. So I think he's a huge component in everything. I'm in the place right now, Hi Laura, that I don't want to risk if it was an injury that was kind of close, or maybe you got to figure out what we need to do with his injury, if he can be sustained through a whole 90 minutes, and if it was bad enough or it was significant enough injury that he was questionable. I understand he's back training. I almost want to say, hey, you know what? I rather just have someone else step up for him and allow for him that extra week of rest or whatever we can to get him back into feeling confident on that ankle. But we'll see. We'll certainly see. Lee Wiskus says, we are a bit thin squad-wise for this game, aren't we? We are. We certainly are. I'm going to break down who we have available for us as well in the breakdown. Certainly so. But I guess, people all know me as a person that likes statistics, and person that definitely likes to, break down the numbers and see what certain stats can tell us. I am certainly like a money game style person at times. I like to think of myself as a little bit of both. Okay, I'm not someone that's solely on one side of I'm all about the analytics and it has to be all done by the analytics. I'm a eye test. I believe in eye test too. But I believe that those that don't understand the analytics sometimes tend to say, I don't care about the stats, or I don't want to hear about stats. Stats are important. They tell you those numbers shape and frame certain elements of the picture for you as well. So I'm going to break down how certain numbers are going to be significant in this game coming up. And what I mean by that is numbers don't lie, and they tell a very familiar story. Liverpool are slight favorites in this game. And when I mean slight, I mean slight. I think the Opta computer had us at like 42.3, something like that, 42% chance, something like that, 42.5. It was 42 something, 42% chance of victory. I just said I love stats and numbers, and I'm not giving you a precise number. 42.3. I'll stick with it. Okay. Tottenham were at 32%, basically. And in between there, a draw remained at around 25%. Now that's the Opta computer. They do like 10,000 different scenarios of the game playing through the computer, and it calculates and tallies up all the scores and possible solutions of what things happen, and then they give you a result. But games aren't played on paper, obviously. And here's where it gets really, really interesting for us. Maybe if not damning for Spurs, but certainly interesting for us, in that Tottenham have won just 2 of their last 25 Premier League matches against Liverpool. Now, that's not just at North London. That's 25 matches, including Anfield and North London. 2 out of 25. Liverpool has scored in 25 of the last 26 league games against Spurs. And you'd be surprised when was the last time we didn't score against Spurs in a match, or in a game, in a Premier League game. I'll put it that way. Big up Norm, by the way. Big up Norm. Big up Dara, by the way. Big up Dara. Let's see. Yeah, Spurs are a bit unpredictable. I agree with that, Norm. Hopefully you stick around to the end, Norm. I don't know if you have judo practice or not later on, but I put together a little, or not I put together, I found a quiz for us to all partake in, okay, for the end of the show. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But you would have to think, how many games do you think it's been since we've gone scoreless against Spurs? 5 games, 10 games, 15 games maybe. It has been 19 games in a row that we have scored on Spurs. Only Arsenal have suffered a longer scoring run from the Reds, which I'd love to hear. And it's little wonder why this fixture has produced 206 Premier League goals. That's how many goals we've scored in this fixture in the Premier League era. 206. And out of those 206 goals, Premier League goals at least, 21 of them have been in the last 3 meetings alone. That's pretty exceptional. That is pretty exceptional. That's obviously including some something more possibly than even Premier League. Because let me double check. That sounds wild to even say. Actually, double check on that one because I want to see what our scores have been. Actually, that would be correct. That would be correct. Because we scored, there were 6 goals in the last game. There was 9 goals in the game before that. And there was 6 goals in the game before that. Crap, that's a lot of goals. You really think about it, that's a lot of goals. That's one of those things where I put that in my notes and I had to double check it. That's how many goals. Because 20, if you think about it, 21 goals is a lot of goals. But that's what it was. There was 5. We beat them 5-1 last time at Anfield. We won 6-3 last time we played them at their home. And then we won 4-2 when we played them at Anfield the last time we played them before that. So this matchup doesn't whisper 0-0. It's a real question of what is going to be this final score and how many goals are going to be scored in it. Because let's be honest, I think Spurs do have scoring capabilities. They have scoring power in their team. And they're a weird team. They can turn up against anyone and everyone. It's just they aren't consistent with their turn up. And I'm kind of curious if Spurs are going to choose this opportunity to turn up against us, simply because we have definitely inspired some teams to play to another level and really not accent the ability of our team the way I like to see us do. Let me see about let's see about introducing some of your comments here. Norm says, I think if we were being honest, I don't really know what to expect tomorrow because he thinks both sides are building right now. I agree with that. Hylor says Liverpool away, 3 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses, 13 goals scored, and 15 conceded. They have turned toxic on Frank really quickly, but is that just Spurs or being Spursy? That's a good question. Very good question. There were some people that weren't even Thomas Frank, like even remotely open to Thomas Frank being a part of the club. I remember United. I think it's called the United. Hold on. It's the United of. I'm gonna go blank on Jacob's channel. Sometimes Jacob and I haven't, not because we're in a fight or anything like that, but I just haven't been able to chop it up with him lately. I forget what his channel's name is. Spurs channels have gone really. Some of the Spurs channels have gone kind of dark when it comes to It used to be they were very inviting, and you could go on channels together, and you can talk, and you can interact, and everything else. United Spurs of America. Thank you, Trudon. That's what it's called. Not that I'm a member. I am actually. He has 2 channels, and I subscribe to both. So shout out to Jacob. Thank you, Trudon. I knew it was something of United, like it was like a play on United States of America. But yeah. It's interesting. I watch also. I think it's called a girl who loves Spurs. It's like she's a nice lady. She's sometimes she does it. She does the show with her husband. She's on Football Terrace every once in a while too. I enjoy chopping it up with them. And they originally it was inviting, very inviting community. I haven't been necessarily invited back lately. Maybe it's because once you become a Europa champion, maybe you think you don't need the presence of Liverpool people. I'm just playing, totally playing. They're very nice people, and they are open to my inclusions, I'm sure. But all right, so I don't have to look up United Spurs of America. Vicario in goal as well. That's the thing. We're going to break down their team, but I would say out of the entire team, before I even get to it, because I'll just break down. I do have some key players and the likes, but I'll give you this teaser. Hi, Laura. I think Vicario in goal is where we have to capitalize because he's not having a phenomenal year. He has been a weak spot for them this season. He's been hot and cold, basically. And we have to capitalize on his inconsistency. I'm not saying he's a bad goalkeeper. I'm just saying that we have to capitalize on his inconsistency. Tottenham this season seemed very strange to Hylor. They loaned Paulinho and have Van de Ven and Romero in the defense. Should be a good fit, not conceding much. For not conceding much. You would think so. I like Van de Ven. I think he would be a good addition to Liverpool, to be honest with you. I like Romero too, by the way. It's in that if he was a Liverpool 12th man, that'd be cool for him. But, big up Norm. So let's see. Is exactly okay. You guys are back on track with me. Let me get back on track with the content that I have for you guys then. So let me tell you this. Context and pressure is what it comes down to. I think not long ago, Arne Slot was being called the most pressured manager in the league. He was I would argue to say that he was most likely, I think, the odds-on favorite to be the next manager sacked. And there were some managers. I mean, I think he was more likely to be sacked than Amram at one point. At least the bookies or whatever you want to call it, the odds makers and such. But that title now belongs to his counterpart that's going to be next to him on that pitch, and that's Thomas Frank. This is his first league meeting with Liverpool as Spurs boss. And I would say history hasn't been necessarily kind to Thomas Frank when he's met Liverpool because it's not going. Last season, he's taking on a team that we beat. That when we played, we beat like 5-1 and 6-3 last season. That's an 11-4 goal ratio. 11 goals. We had 49 shots in those games total. 49 shots. Frank is already underwater when it comes to some of these fans. I remember some of them call him, I think, what was it? Jacob called him like the garbage man or something like that. Thomas Garbage or something. It was something ridiculous. He was a little bit over the top with his criticism, I think, for a coach that had never even seen one game as their coach. But Frank already risked unwanted history. And that is if Spurs lose, and this is what I said history earlier. If Spurs lose, it would be their 11th home league defeat of 2025. Now, not all of those are under his tenure. However, that's a lot of, like, as in a lot of, to lose at home is something you should and can't do. The most they've ever suffered in a calendar year has been just that, 11. Or that would be the most they've suffered in a calendar year if they were to lose 11, I should say. So this isn't just a match. This will be something that a lot of those Spurs fans hold over Thomas Frank's head if they do lose. And it is especially one of the reasons why I think that Thomas Frank is going to look at really putting something together for this game. Now, whether he goes pragmatic or not is going to be wait. We got to wait and see, because he has gone pragmatic. He has gone very neutered against teams that he understood to be high-powered teams, and the result has been very bad results for him. I'm hoping he hasn't learned his lesson. But it's a case where we have to understand where and what we can expect out of this game. And that is, I'm certain that Thomas Frank's going to look to make it a bell ringer for his team, considering beating the champions is always just that. Every team has a target on the backs of the champions when they come to their house, especially when they come to their house, as opposed to on the road. Hyler is saying Solanke has struggled with injuries as well. Could we call this bad luck? I would certainly call it bad luck for him. I would call it bad luck. I would call it bad luck because Solanke was looked to be the player that would lead their line. Now it's, on occasion, it's Richarlison. Let's see who they for Spurs, for instance. Spurs played Forest last, and in the Forest game, they went with a front line of Richarlison. In the I'm not going to worry about the Europa game that they played in, or actually the Champions League game I meant that they played in. But in the Brentford game, they went with Richarlison. So lately they've been going Richarlison. And Richarlison's been having a decent year, to be honest with you. As much as I hate to say that, because I can't stand the player. But Richarlison's been having a decent year. Pretty decent year. Lee, I am with you on that one. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I am definitely with you on your comments there. Some of those people that say that stuff is just pathetic. I don't understand it. Excuse me. Exactly what I mean. It's just weird. Sometimes on some channels, like, you'll see people say some disparaging words for our own players, and then when they become good, all of a sudden they're their biggest fans. It's like it's wild. Like, guys, I'll ask you this before I get too deep into it, because there's another segment coming up. I'll ask you this, and this is something I want to get involved with the chat with you. For instance, I saw some, I think it was um, uh, what's his name? Now I'm going blank on everyone's names. Extent is extensions? No, it's not extensions. It might be what he has, but um, he's oozing sauce. Who's the guy who's oozing sauce? I sound so old right now and so out of touch. Uh, Spurs, and he was on there with Lawrence McKenna, and they were doing a back and forth, and and they are doing. I think it was a sports Bible. I don't know if you guys watched that one or not, but they were doing and it was expressions. Yes, expressions. Thank you, Dara. I was like extensions. I know it was extensions or excisions or something like that. Those are like DJs. But a uh, they did a back and forth where they do like the Liverpool fans on one side. You got to either strongly agree or strongly disagree. You know, they said they move their drink into where they believe the question is. And one of the questions was, you know, like they were going back and forth about um, because the expressions was seriously going on about how Salah is done and dusted. Excuse me. And how there are other players talking about. He's talking about Isak. It was a waste of money, and Verts was a waste of money, and all these different things. He's just going on and on and on. And somehow Spurs have loyalty to their team, to their players, and the likes, and blah 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 blah. It was a very interesting take from expressions. Lawrence McKenna did his best to kind of be level-headed and answer the questions. I like Lawrence McKenna. I don't agree with everything Lawrence McKenna says, but I definitely enjoy the fact of him being out there to represent us at times, or at the most of the times. And why I'm bringing this up is when they were talking, they were mentioning about they were talking about Verts or about Isak or about all these different players that just joined the team, basically. And what was very interesting is the take I have with a lot of these players is this. Now, this is where I want to get the back and forth with you in the chat and then see if you agree with what with this assessment. I believe that you can't necessarily tell if someone's a flop or not within the first couple of months of them playing. You can't tell if someone's a flop or not. Like if you give a player one, or do you, how long, in essence, how long do you give a player before you say he's either your cup of tea or not your cup of tea, if you want to call it that? Because there are times where you'll hear people mentioning about Florian Wirtz not having the GA that people expected him to have in the Premier League, or you'll hear how Isak hasn't been scoring in the dynamic ranges that we've seen him score for Newcastle. There could be there. You could even relate it to other past Liverpool players that we've had before, but especially just this run of players, because there was, I think one of the questions that was related to this is, do you think that the summer was a flop or not with the number of players that they brought in? And what's unique about the acquisition of these players is you're not buying a player simply to say, we're gonna invest in you. Either you hit the ground running or you're gone. That's just not how we do stuff. I mean, it's not how we do things really in Liverpool, but that's not really the mindset of this this vision or the game plan that I think this club has. And why I think it's funny is because, like, you know, it's like, you know, the guys that talk about Cody Gakpo or Poo or whatever they call him. Some channels call him like um, like Lee was just mentioning. Why it's interesting is that some people gave up on Dominic Szoboszlai that first year. They're incredibly bullish on him at first, calling him going as far as calling him the Hungarian Gerard or something. And then all of a sudden, he had a little bit of a drying out period. And people just all of a sudden were like, I'm jumping ship. I'm jumping off the bandwagon. And then it became the other extreme where they're like, I'll be the first to drive him to the airport. I'm just bringing up these reasonings because those same people are the same people that want you to forget that they ever said those harsh and really critical things of them early in their early development stages with the team. Yet, some of these players now having been bedded into the system or bedded into the way that Liverpool works and the way they do things are now some of our most influential, if not critical players on our club. And for myself, I of course get disappointed or angry or that when I don't see the players play to the expectations that I have for them. But I can be critical sometimes of my fellow fans or fellow fan base that sometimes when we do go a little bit too far and too extreme with it, that's at least where I would go with that. So let's ask, what is the staging? How long do you normally give a player to develop? How long do you? Because I think Liverpool have given a place, at least when it comes to this team. I believe that Liverpool have given an idea that it's not about the first 6 months. It's about how this player performs in 6 years. And I think that's a big difference. And I know some people don't want to frame their mind or craft their mind about it, that in that direction. But I think ideally that's how this team works. I think that's how this club works. I think how at least the back room compartments of how this club go about making their decisions, I think is under the pretense of they're not looking at it like what's the first 6 months of it's just in the first 6 months, I'll either go thumbs up or thumbs down on a player. I think it's like a matter of, is this person making progressive momentum towards having a palatable 6-year investment be understood. Let me see how you guys think about this. Let me see how you guys are thinking about this. Bring this up here. See if I missed any comments. Richarlison is definitely not my cup of tea, for sure. Let's see. Just see if you guys are engaging with what I have to say. See what you guys thought. yeah. Ashiman still got to work out some key bugs to work his way into our lineup, I'm sure. Lee Wiska is saying a lot of factors, especially when players are coming from other countries. I agree with that completely. There's a lot of factors that you have to age, family, culture, the system, the team system, if they're adjusting to new formations or new roles on teams, the hierarchy amongst teams. A lot of those things are all definite changes in a player and how they develop and are able to cast right into contributing. Norm says, with Isak, Slot's words early on were telling. We have bought Isak for 6 years, not just for the first weeks of a season. And I agree with that completely. I think that's exactly my mindset when it comes to some of these players. It's okay to be critical. It's okay to be critical or be or to break down the games, or be constructive with your criticism, especially if you want to bring up criticism, be constructive with it. But it can be a very interesting community of conversation sometimes when you get to trying to have honest discussions without someone always trying to figure out some cute way of trying to downplay or show their angst against the player. Lee says that's true though. That is true, by the way, Norm. We haven't lost a game of Oshman is undefeated with Liverpool so far. And that's a running joke. Lee says, it's hard to sort the flip-floppers from those just being populist or anti-populist. Wow, Lee Wiskid, I like that. That's like a very, very nuanced approach towards thinking. I like that. It's so sophisticated. Norm says himself, he will judge Isak next season on. I agree. Would I like to see results from Isak this year? 9,000%. That's not a real number, but you know what I mean by that. I'm using the 9 just because he's the number 9. But 9,000%, 900%, 100%. 100%. I want to see results from Isak this year. But if it doesn't happen this year, I'm not going to say get him out of my club. That's something I'm not going to say. I will definitely reserve my judgment on Isak for that, even though I do want to see and hope that we will see some results soon. I think we might. I think this 4-4-2, if we stick with it, we might actually see a relationship develop and grow. Another point, because there's something else too. I can't play the clip, but I'll give you a paraphrase from the clip in a second. Management will know when a player is fitting in as opposed to underperforming. Tyler says, not sure if the right questions are being asked. The question is, the players that are being bought, are they already signed off as okay from Slot, or are they just thrown his way from Hughes and company? Okay, that's one way of looking at it too. Norm says, I really never understood the words we won the transfer window. How can you say such things before they even played for the side? I get that too. I get that. That's because like everybody wants to always, you see the shiny toys. Like when you open up, you see the shiny toys and you want to play your shiny toys, but who knows if they're going to be cool as the toys you already have, Who knows? Until you play with them. You're absolutely right about that. Dara says, depends, multiple factors like age, experience, position, team members, maturity, et cetera. And just merely, Norm says he just merely have an opinion on what he as a fan sees. Doesn't make it right, and in fact, he's more wrong than right. But he doesn't think opinions on here are crazy. He's had his opinion checked by people on here by seeing it a different way, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you feel that way, that you feel open and secure enough to be able to voice your opinion on here without feeling like you're going to be ridiculed or isolated or ostracized or anything like that. That's not the case. I want to have open debate. You want to have open discussions, and you want to be able to like verbalize, especially when it's in this community. Because I honestly do think that the people that do join this community, they're either people that are wanting to learn or they're people that are willing to share their knowledge. And I appreciate that inner exchange of the two, which is the best way to learn in general and become stronger. And that's the only thing I've ever wanted to do for my Reds, is always make us stronger. And that's why I'm glad we are all here together to do so. So beware, rivals and neutrals. Just kidding. Just joking. There was a comment, and this is related to what we're just talking about, and then I'm gonna get back into the preview. I swear. So Shearer had a comment about what Liverpool were doing. I saw this little clip, and he was going on. I think it was on the show he does. It's again, it's all about football or something. I think it's called or something like that. Um, anyways, he was on the show, and he made the comment that he doesn't know what Liverpool are doing in buying Isak. Automatically, I think too, it sounds a little bit biased because you all know that he's a Newcastle guy, true and true. And he was kind of like, and at times, he had the attitude of, oh, Trent should be allowed to do whatever he wants. But then when it came to Isak, no, Isak should be loyal to Newcastle and only Newcastle, basically. Is what he was had like leaning towards. And in the comment, he was talking about the fact that we had bought Ekitiké, and he thinks Ekitiké is a phenomenal player. And he talked about how Newcastle had gone in to buy him, and he's like, and he was trying to make the emphasis of how he didn't think that both of them. He's like, I don't understand why Isak came to Liverpool because there's no intention to play them in a two striker system and yada yada yada. And I thought it was very interesting because I know Shearer is heavily connected to Newcastle. I'm sure I know he does a lot of their games and he follows the team and the likes. And what was interesting is that he's got to recognize the fact that even if Isak had stayed with Newcastle, Newcastle was making every honest effort to bring in Ekitike. And from all the readings and of tea leaves that I was seeing, their intentions were to always try to figure out a way to play the two players together. So that's why I'm unsure of why he's like kind of like questioning, like questioning the idea of the two strikers playing together in the front too, because initially that was the whole, I believe, interest of Newcastle for bringing in Ekitike was to play him with Isak, not to play them separately, but to play them together. That's at least what I was the readings of the tea leaves that I had seen. I think that is going to make an enormous difference. We're going to get into lineups, but I would love to see if you agree with that. I'll ask this basic question to the audience. Yes or no? Are you all in on a two-striker front, or are you still wanting to see a sole striker with wingers and the likes? I just want yes or no. You can tell me that. I would love to see your opinion. Then I'll dive right back into styles and some of the stuff that we got to worry about in this game upcoming. But I'm asking yes or no. You can just tell me. Yes, being you want to see a two striker solution, or no, you're happy with a single striker concept. I would love to see if you guys could just indulge me. I'll take a sip of my Coke Zero here. No, I'm not trying to plug Coke at all. Coca-Cola. I should make sure I make safe right clipped up or something. Coca-Cola or something. Let's see. Norm, I get it. You're not a fan of stats and stuff. Maybe I get you on the old fashioned. I get you. Um, let's see. Also, he's saying he's happy with two strikers if we play either McAllister or Burts behind them. Okay. Would you be Norm? Now I'm going to read the other. Please do put your comments in because I'm going to read out your comments here. Norm, would you be open to would you be open to not only McAllister or Verts, excuse me, but would you be open to maybe even Salah as a 10? Just a question. Just a question. Tell me if you feel how you feel about that one. Let's see. Lee Wizkid says he doesn't like us playing both strikers. To be honest, they need to be backups to each other for each other. That's an acceptable answer, certainly. The real R2F, aka Dustin, legend that be. He says two forwards. Two forwards. We should have started the season like that, Dustin. That's why you're a legend, brother. I love that. Right there with you on that. I think honestly we should have gone for. I think we should still go for Alvarez. By the way, in my opinion, I think we should still go for Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. Shore up our front line and get another center forward on our team. Let's see. Tyler says, in his opinion, Isak is so far off from being where he should be. So pretty much any other player except Joe Gomez would probably score more goals. Okay, wasn't expecting that shade, but okay, I got you, Hylor. And Norm says, because I generally believe Mac and Vert's best position is right on edge of the box. I agree with that too. I think Macca has been under. I think Macca, I think Macca when he was with Klopp and playing that advanced state, you got to see the best of Macca, and then we moved him to the 6. Not saying that he didn't play well for us last season, but when he was playing in that pivot, he was more so filling a role as opposed to playing his best position. I think personally, and I agree. That's at least my point of preference when it comes to Macca is the same as yours, Retro LFC. Yes, that is Dustin. That is Dustin. Let's see. Lee Whisker says he'd love to see Alvarez, but he can't see it. Hey, tell me you saw Verts. Tell me you saw Isak. Okay, I'll say that right now. Tell me you saw any of those players as Liverpool Reds originally, other than maybe on a on that as well. Yeah, Dustin is the real R2F. That's who Dustin. That's Dustin's avatar name. Why can't we play a player like Rio and get more minutes on the pitch? It makes Hylor angry. I get what you're saying, Hylor. I agree. I'm going to say I agree with some of your statement. I would love to see Rio get more minutes this year, but I don't want to see Rio get more minutes because of our need. I would like to see Rio get more minutes out of our luxury, if you know what I mean by that. And I'll do my best to explain it real quick. I'm just looking to see Rio get minutes, but I would like to see him get minutes in like games where he can feel comfortable and not feel vexed to have to perform to some level where he's maybe trying to play. He's trying to overperform. That Newcastle game was fantastic to see him get put into it to get us that winning goal. But I just don't want to see him get put into a position for such a young player. I'd rather see him be able to like continue to ease his way into developing a real confidence amongst his teammates on the pitch. At least that's what I'd like to see. He does need regular football. I agree with that too, Lee Wiskett. He does need it. And interesting. Retro Norm says, interesting. I'm not really sure, 12. I mean, if Salah's pace is going, then his lack of pace would not matter in behind two strikers. It will be his vision or cuteness to play the two in. And that's why I'm saying it, Norm. That's exactly why I'm saying it. I'm not saying that Salah is, I'm not going as far as the Jamie Carragher, his legs are gone or whatever, or he can't run or whatever. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you have seen a bit of his take on ratio, his win percentage against taking on fullbacks has gone down. And the efficiency he's had with it being at a lower level isn't what we need for a player that's going to play at that role on the wing. I'm saying bring him in central, make him into a facilitator. He can crack off shots if he wants to. It's not like a 10 can't score, but it would be incredible for him to be able to become a real arbitrator of the ball for us. And I think that's what I would like to see him do. I think it could open up. I think it could bring a new lease on his career with Liverpool. It could maybe even I'll give you this. This scenario, or not scenario, excuse me, this example at least. And shout out Red Armchair Supporter. Big up, big up. The final year of Bobby with the team, I was very vocal on wanting to see Klopp transition Bobby to a 10. Why I wanted to see him transition him to a 10. And it could have meant just simply this. Bring Bobby deeper and so that he could have created an introduction of being able to still be the dynamic Bobby, because we all know Bobby can facilitate and pass and create and control the ball at his feet. But he had lost a little bit of his pace, enough so that maybe he wasn't going to be that line breaker when it came to, really putting a lot of emphasis on that back line for our opposition. I wanted to have Bobby's skills on the pitch. I think Bobby's football IQ and skills on the pitch far exceeded whatever negatives people brought up about his game. And there was very few things that were really going to maybe bring him to being our full-time, starting number 9. We didn't do that. I'm asking, and this is just my perception, at least. I'm asking that we see maybe Slot do that. Give that opportunity to Mohamed Salah to do what I just suggested, which is play that 10 role, especially if we run a 4-4-2 diamond. It would allow for him to have starts. It would allow for him to be integrated, into the game, into the team, not lose a place maybe in the lineup, because I don't know. I think he works better as a 10 than he would as a right midfielder slash wannabe winger. I just think that would be a unique and more beneficial solution to the evolution or the eventual phasing out and phasing in of whoever we're going to go with for the future. So that being that, is what I want to say. Norm saying, yeah, I get you. His legs have not gone, but yeah, maybe his bursting pace to get away from markers has. So yeah, I do get what you mean. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. I was just trying to connect. We connected on that on the point. I don't know what black pudding is, so I'll move on to Norm says Bobby was a bit like Dalglish in that he could see things others could not. Not quick in pace, but quick in computation, or computing things in his head. Agree with you on that completely. Something about Lee and Tracy. All right, let's get back to this breakdown of this game. And again, if you guys agree or disagree, it's cool. Tell me in the comments. Tell me what you think. I know sometimes I haven't seen Trap Joe in a little while in the chat, but I know, like, for instance, sometimes Trap Joe will leave me like small novels to read, but I don't mind at all. I try to indulge myself in everyone's comments. You know, positive or critical as they might be for my opinions, or maybe some opinions of the channel, but I appreciate the interaction. All right. I know Norm doesn't like numbers, but I'm going to talk about some numbers again because I just mentioned some numbers earlier, and you would think numbers like this, the numbers of how many goals are being scored in these matchups. I said how we scored. What was it? 6-3, I think it was, and 5-1 were the scores, right? You'd think that this would be a goal fest is guaranteed in this game, but it's not necessarily, because as of late we haven't really been scoring like that, to be honest with you. Because football is never that simple. Liverpool away from home is not, or is even more complex or more an interesting read. So it's either a clean sheet or 2 goals conceded or more, it seems like. So Tottenham at home, they have 10 home league defeats in 2025. I spoke about that. This could be their 11th if we are able to do so. But 4 losses by 3 goals or more this year. They've had 4 losses by 3 goals or more this year. I'm hoping that this game has a little bit of not just chaos, but I'm hoping that this game has a little bit of intrigue for all of us, in that it should be a heavy score. I'm hoping that it could be a heavy score, in that we could see 2 teams, or at least this team, Liverpool, we could see our team kind of open up the gears a little bit, get a couple players in rhythm, get a goal for Florian Wirtz, or get a goal for Isak, get Maka back into form, move past this whole Salah saga and the likes, because our availability is this, or as was mentioned earlier, lack of it. Tottenham are stretched as well. Klosevski, Madison, Solanke, Udogie, all sidelined. Star is away at AFCON for them. So that's 5 notable names that aren't available. But when it comes to our club, we don't have Abu Salah because of AFCON, but we don't also have Gomez. He's still out with a muscle injury. The Endo situation is a little bit more troubling than I was hoping, because it doesn't seem like we'll have Endo back for a little while as well. Because Endo was, whether you love him or hate him, he was still a player that could be fine-tuned as a stopgap for certain roles on our midfield, if not even for our back line. But he's unavailable, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a ways before he gets back to being available with an ankle injury. Good news is this: Cody Gakpo is still unavailable. However, it has been reported that his injury is not as severe as originally reported. That's huge. Huge. There are some lifelines that we have. Okay. Big up, Dara. If you win, let's start up a YouTube empire for YouTube talk. And if I win, we'll do the same. I'll give you a nice little retirement package How about that? So, or you can run security for the studio or something. I don't know. But let's see. Good luck to you in getting a ticket. I think it's over. I think for those that are asking or wondering, I think the lottery is over $1 billion American. I think it's over $1 billion. I think is the lottery right now. I think it is. Anyway, there are some lifelines that we're talking about. I'm there with you. If I win, trust, I'm buying a yacht. And all the OGs, not everyone. I'll make sure I make that point. Not everyone, but the OGs of the channel are all invited to come for the yacht christening, because it'll be docked in Liverpool and we will have a wild time. Have a very enjoyable time. Whether you drink or don't drink, does not matter. We'll have a very enjoyable time. I'll have definitely a great spread of stuff to go to spread around. Yeah. 1.5 billion. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's exactly what I'll do. I already know what I'm going to call the boat. I already know what I'm going to call the boat. I already got it. All right. Lifelines, like I spoke on. Connor Bradley returns. Huge. Because it was an injury, but it was suspension that kept him out for the last game. But what was unique about that is that we all know that Connor Bradley has been working back and forth with injuries and the likes. So maybe another week for him to just kind of get his fitness back to the levels that we needed. Hopefully did him well. I spoke on Damas Basalai. He could be a feature. I really don't want to see him start. I get that people do. I don't want to see him start in this game. I'm cool if I'm not even playing in this game. I think that we have enough talent on this team to get by without Damas Basalai being in the team per se. Not because he's not invaluable, but because I just don't want to chance fracturing or hurting a very valuable piece to this club. That's my only take. But if he's fit to play, more power to him, and I hope that he plays well, obviously. The other is that Frimpong is reportedly close, but probably not ready. I'm happy to hear that. Now, I heard two different things. I heard he's close, probably not ready. I've also heard that he is training and could be a possible inclusion in the team. Not necessarily starting, but certainly could be a player that sees minutes in this fixture. And that's big because if we do go with wingers, he could play the winger position. If we do need a reserve at right back, we could play the right back position. It is immensely big to see that happen. Oh, shout out to John Wick. Empire Mizzy in the building. Big up. We need Sabasalai's legs in midfield, but I understand Slot does not want to risk him. That's all. I just don't want to risk him. I just don't want to risk him. And a game against Spurs is not. It's not like we're talking about some Champions League final or something like that. This is not a game where you risk, hampering a player for weeks as opposed to getting through one game and having him for months. That's a big difference. But all the same, Slot's options are still thin. And I think that his choices are more definitively placed than I would say Thomas Frank's are. My key players to watch, and that's where I would like to go with this next, is my key players to watch is this. obviously done spotlight, whether he plays or doesn't play, is definitely a key player to keep in mind. But I'm going to say for Spurs, if Spurs have hope, it will likely rest with one player. Now, who do you think that player might be? I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do some Birdman calls or something like that, but it would be with the Pigeon. Richarlison has been involved in 7 Premier League goals against Liverpool. He has the team he scores the most against in his career is us. But here's the catch. The catch is all those goals have come against us at Anfield. So hopefully we will not see that change just yet. And I'll say just yet, because when we play against them at Anfield, different story. Shout out to Daz. Big up Daz Reynolds in the house. Big up, big up. But yes, that's the catch. And for Liverpool, I think that the spotlight has to be placed on. I would say this, and this is unique, because originally in my notes, I placed it on one particular player. I am leaning towards saying the opposite. But you can tell me, for you, what player does the spotlight rest on for Liverpool? You can tell me in the chat. I'm going to go with, my original notion was to go with Hugo Ekitiké. And why I'm saying that is because I would like to say Isak. I would like to be able to say the spotlight is going to belong to Isak. Isak loves to score against Spurs, which he does. Spurs are one of the teams that he scores quite a bit with. However, I was with Newcastle, obviously, but he loves a goal against Spurs. And he needs something to get him off of the slide. But Hugo Ekitiké, after having 2 braces, right now is our gunman. There's only one player to have scored multiple goals in 3 consecutive Premier League matches for Liverpool. Can you name the player? I'll give you that little quizzo. How about that? That was something in my notes here. But only one player has scored multiple goals in 3 consecutive matches. 3 consecutive Premier League matches, that is. Can you name the player? Lee Wizkid, there you go. Well done, well done. Well done. Suarez is the name. I'm hoping lightning can strike twice. And maybe we'll see Hugo do so. Maybe we'll see Hugo do so. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Prediction time, people. Prediction time, because we're at about $1:10. We got like 20 some odd minutes left, because I do want to get into this last bit. I want to get into this little quizzo section, or dual agent quizzo section that I have for us. As far as predictions, history screams Liverpool, obviously, but considering our year, History can't really be used as a measuring bell for this one. We don't have Salah in this game. That's debatable how much he would have made a difference or not. I understand that, but all the same, having a talented player like him is always a benefit, I think, personally. How much of a role Dominus Boslai plays in this game is still yet to be seen. Spurs are fighting for survival, I think, in the Premier League, as opposed to last year. They're not necessarily at the bottom of the league, but they're mid-table, and I'm sure that they don't want to fall any lower than where they are, especially at home. I'm sure they're not going to want to do that. I do have an 11. But let me see. I thought I had my 11 on here. Hold on. I will tell you my 11 for us. I will tell you my 11. My starting 11 is I'm going to go Ali in goal. I'm going to go Bradley on the right. VVD and Kanate in the middle. I'm going to go with Kirkes starting this game. I think Kirkes has done well lately, and it's not that I don't think that it's not that it's a reflection of Robbo in any means. It's more of I would just like to see Kirkes get the start to kind of keep the momentum going while he has it. In midfield. It's going to be interesting because, again, it depends. If we went with a 4-4-2 and we did go with a double with both strikers starting, obviously it changes the scenario for me. But if we're going to go with a 4-2-3-1, I'm going to go with Maka and Grav as your, or excuse me, I'll go Maka, Grav, and Jones in the midfield as that 3. Then I want to see Verts at the top of that diamond. I want to see Ekitiké. And I want to see Chiesa. I'd like to see Chiesa get this start. He's healthy. He's ready. And this could be one of his real opportunities. You don't have Salah in the lineup. You don't have Cody Gakpo in the lineup, not even available. There is absolutely no reason why you can't start Chiesa. Absolutely no reason you can't start Chiesa. And I could definitely see Chiesa getting some type of goal involvement in this game, simply because if he gets to start, he is going to want to really put in a shift for us, I think. So let me get some score predictions. in the chat, and scorers. Who you think is going to start the party for us? Because we all know our record as being conceded on first or scoring the first goal. So let's hopefully score the first goal here in North London. And I'm going to have it. Should I go clean sheet? I want to go, okay, so I'll do a heart, and I'll do a head and heart thing. My heart says 2-0, and my head says 2-1 Liverpool. That's what I'll go with. That's what I'm going with. 2-1 Liverpool. 2-1 Liverpool. And I will have I will have a I'll have a Chiesa goal, please. And I'll have an Isak goal, please, as well. Chiesa and Isak. Or Florian Wirtz. How can I forget that? I'll go Flo. I'll go Flo. You're right, Daz. I should have gone Flo. I'll go Chiesa and Flo. It'd be nice to see goals from I want to see goals from our strikers, but I would love to see Chiesa get a goal, and I would love to see Wirtz get a goal. Love to see that happen. In the chat, you guys are saying, let me see what you guys are saying. Let me see the same. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything up top. 3-1 to the Mighty Reds, says Lee Wizkid. Daz says 3-2, Isak Wirtz and VVD for our goals. Okay, pick up Daz. I like that. Lee Wizkid says goals for that 3-1 are going to be VVD, Hugo, and the Pigeon. An own goal. That would be funny. That'd be funny. Not break his streak of no goals against us at home. That'd be awesome to see. An own goal would be definitely awesome, like off a header, something like that, off a set piece or something like that, and it's like a corner kick, and it goes off his shoulder or something like that. Hyler's going. Yeah, okay. Hyler went 3 steps better and did a 0-3 hat trick own goals by Richarlison. If that happens, that would be immensely incredible. I think that'd be our record, actually. That'd probably be a record because I don't think anyone scored more than 2. There have been players that scored 2 own goals in a game. I don't know if they scored. I don't know if there's been one that scored 3. But all right. I see what you guys got going on. All right, noted. Hopefully we can have enough control, enough quality tomorrow to keep those scores healthy and wealthy and wise. Let's get into this. All right, let me bring this up for everyone. I'm going to share the screen here. I'm going to try to make this large enough for everyone to be able to see it without showing all the 3,000 ads there are. I'm not going to, I think I am logged in under my name, or at least under my, I'm logged under my channel. So hopefully you guys do this well. Because, or I'm about to play it as a practice round for you guys, one or the other, because I don't want you guys messing up my averages. But this is the quiz, people. This is the quiz I spoke on. Make this large for you. All right. So basically, the quiz is. Let me bring this down, actually. The quiz is this. The quiz is, can you pick the players who have played for both Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur? I'm hoping we can, by the way, Daz. I'm really hoping we can. There are some players that have to definitely avoid. Damas Basala is one of those players that has to avoid a yellow card tomorrow if he plays. There are some players that should be mindful that if they get a yellow card, then they'll be on high alert to not get another one before the year ends. And that is, I think, both Virgil and Ibu, I think, are very close. They're 2 yellow cards away from getting suspended themselves. So, all right, let's do this. Let's play this game. I'll just have it on practice mode. It'll just keep up. It'll have a timer going up as opposed to going, because all you get is you get 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So rather than have to like weigh that out, I'll see how you guys do. All right. And let's get it going. All right. Here we are. Here we are. Let me make it so it's not showing all these stupid ads. All right. These are the players. These are the players. Put in the chat. Think wisely before you put them in the chat, because if you put it in the chat, I will click that name. I'm not gonna. I know I only got like out of the 17. I think I got 14 of these. I only got 13 or 14 of the names. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to click on the names you put in the chat. Tell me who are the players that have played for both Liverpool and Spurs. All right. Norm is saying Paul Walsh. All right. Paul Walsh is one. Daz is saying Rosenthal. Okay, let me find Rosenthal. Clements. Where is Clements? I don't see Clements on here. Oh, I see Ray Clements. Put Walsh in there. Crouch, definitely Peter Crouch. I knew that one too. Souness, all right. Where is this? You have to just give me. I just have to find their name sometimes. That's all. Graham. There's Graham. Ruddock. Ruddock is where? See Neil. Redknapp. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamie Redknapp is one of the commentators for the game somehow. Friedel. You got to love it. There you go. There you go. Definitely Friedel. Where is Friedel? There's good old Brad Friedel, the American that played goalkeeper for both clubs. Leonardson. Where is he? I see him. All right. I know, Lee. I know. I got you, Lee. I got you. So 7 remaining. If we were playing the other way, there's only two. This game, the only reason why I got 14 was because like they only give you 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do it. Stephen Calker. That'd be correct. Scales. John Scales. Boom. All right. Murphy. He definitely played. Yeah, where is he? Danny Murphy. 4 left. 4 left. Who are the 4 other players on this list? Stewart. Paul Stewart. All right. You got any other takers? We got 3 left. 3 left. Nick Barnby. That is correct. 2 left. 2. There you go. That's it, Lee. Just say which ones haven't played for us. There you go. Robbie Keane. Where's Robbie? That would be correct. We have 1 name remaining. 1 name remaining. Can you get the last name remaining? Can you get the last name? Who's the last man standing? The last man standing. Let me find him. That would be it. Well done, people. Well done. Very well done. Jeez. I thought that was gonna and a good time too. 4 minutes 33 seconds is not bad. That's nothing to be ashamed of, to be honest with you. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And all Norm to be fed. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see him say it. I didn't see him say it yet. My bad. My bad. My bad. Um, I didn't see that. See him say. I didn't see him say that. I didn't see him say Christian's name, but I did see you guys got 100%. That's well done. That's well done. Yeah, that's very well done. I even tell you this. Let me see. I like a couple more minutes. I can hang out for a couple more minutes. Um, you see the list here, right? You see the list. These are all players that have played for our team and also played for Spurs as well. Make the list a little bit larger so you can see it. And this is why I make the list larger so it becomes this next question can be a little bit let's say easier, but out of these 17 or out of these players, there's only been 13 that have played during, according to Liverpool FC, 13 players have played for Liverpool and Spurs during the Premier League era. So there's only been 13 of them that have played in the Premier League era. That's what at least Liverpool FC is saying. So if you do, if you're looking at this live or whatever, or on the replay, and you want to drop something into the chat or the community, or excuse me, the comment section, tell me the 13 names of the players that make that list. The 13 players that did play in the Premier League for both Liverpool and for Spurs. All right, you guys crushed that one. That's probably why I don't always bring up those kinds of those quizzes, because you guys are just like, and especially if Norm's here, then Norm's seen half of those, if not all those players play, so he knows which ones they are. So it becomes a little bit easier. That's interesting. Norm still thinks that Clemens was the best keeper that we've ever had. It's very interesting. Even with Ali, you'd say that, huh? That's interesting. Very interesting. Ray Clemens was an incredible keeper, of course, but again, Clem was something else. 12. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. And he put him ahead of Ali. Wow. All right. All right. Like I said, this is a place you don't have to be shy with your opinions. You can bring them out and definitely exchange them with us. Exchange them with us. Who would be, real quick, who would be your I like to call it the podium. Who would be your podium of goalkeepers then for the last to be able to add Clements in there? For the last, what is that, 20, 30? So make it the last 40 years. The last 40 years. Who you could use the last 40 years. Who are you putting on the podium of gold, silver, bronze goalkeepers? Lee's got Clem, Ali, and then Grobar. All right. Oh, same list. Okay. Got you. All right. Oh man. That was surprising. I was just wondering. I thought maybe you would have Adrian in there. I thought maybe we'd see Adrian and maybe as a bronze or something. taking care of the horse stable for us. I mean, that is a big job. No, just playing around, just playing around. Plus, shout out to Adrian. Everyone knows I like Adrian as a goalkeeper, or meaning I like him as a Liverpool Red because he stepped up when we needed to. He had some stinkers too, but he also stepped up when we needed to. So for a while, for a while he was like the last goalkeeper. For a hot minute, he was the last goalkeeper to have one for us. Adrian carries and Brett. That may be a different podium, by the way. That might be a different podium for some. That might be slightly different podium. But Ali's my goal. I get that. I get people's nostalgia with the goalkeepers that they have. I'm probably speaking from biases. That's why when it comes to my ratings for those goalkeepers. So I don't know if I would put my goalkeepers out there because Pepe would be on the podium in my humble opinion. I love Pepe Reina as a goalkeeper, at least. Maybe not as an individual, but as a goalkeeper. And you gotta love Adrian. Yes, he not only helped us win a league, he helped us win a Super Cup. By the way, I think right. I think it was a super. I think he was the super. He was. I don't think he got the MVP of the Super Cup, but I think he was very influential in that game. Very influential, and played exceptionally well against Manchester City when we needed him to. Let's see. He saved a shot from Rush in '87. He's never understood to this day how he saved it. Okay, I got you. Oh, he's talking about Southall from Everton. I got you. Giving a little love for the blue. I see. I understand. Let's see. But yeah, those are just some of the goalkeepers I think have been exceptional for us. I would have Pepe in there, but I know Pepe doesn't make everyone's list. I'm only going with one people that have a real background in seeing play, using my eye test as opposed to statistics. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap this up? Because I am just about all out of, we're talking about stats and the likes. I am out of stats and different things that bring up. Again, if you guys want to do the comments section, definitely. I don't even think he was listed in that list. Oh no, I still have that open. Let me see something. He wasn't in this list. And I was just seeing something. I have a list of the 13 players, but I am wearing a kit that is not officially a kit. So that's one of the reasons why I'm starting to soften when it comes to my stance on kits, especially if I'm going to do this other project that I'm thinking about doing. But the kit I'm wearing is an Ajax kit. They made a special. So Ajax made a special kit for Bob Marley because he was heavily connected. Reggae music is so heavily connected to obviously Holland for other reasons, and was very connected to it was heavily connected to Ajax and yada yada. So they made a kit that had the One Love and was commissioned by the Marley family to be able to be a kit. But apparently there was some reasoning behind they couldn't use the kit because it was. I had to look up the reason why, but it was like some wild reason as to certain sponsoring reasons and such that they couldn't have a Bob Marley kit. So it was a tribute to Bob Marley. I love Bob Marley. I wear the kit more for Bob Marley than I wear for Ajax. I'll tell you that much. I don't have any. I don't have any Ajax kits other than this one. But yeah, it's. I think you can see it says something like the Legends Forever, and has like on the back it has like the Three Little Birds, one of his songs. But yeah, that's the only reason why. Daz, 12th man, who's your top 3 attacking midfielders of the Reds? Oof. Of all time or Premier League or let me think. I see Norm's question too. I'll get to that one too as well. Make sure it doesn't go off the screen. Attacking mid I'd say attacking midfielders. Oof. My top 3. I'm only gonna go Premier League for right now. I'm not gonna do all time. And I would say I have my 2, but I'm trying to think of my 3rd. And I don't know if I said Barnes, I don't know if that would qualify or not because he's more of a winger than a midfielder, I guess. I'm sure people will push back and say that, right? Is that what probably most of you would say? Even though he did play midfield the latter part of his years, so he could qualify as being a midfielder, but he was certainly more attacking when he was a winger than he was a midfielder. Anyhow, I would say obviously Stevie G is there. I would say Stevie G as my goal place winner. I would probably go with because you know what's funny is that I could say Salah or something if I really wanted to be funny, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna slide to the left or something. I'll actually slide to you on this question. I have my second. I'm trying to think of who my third most offensive midfielder. I'm gonna make sure I start these questions from Norm too. Oh, shout out to that's super cool, by the way. Super cool. I saw a question from Norm. Let me double check. Yeah, I got you right after this order. I will. He might stop watching the channel if he sees that. Let's see. Do that. I would say because my second. It depends. All right, so I'll go with Stevie. I'll go with Coutinho. And I'll go offensive. I want to say Alonso, but that might be. I'd have to do a little more thought on my third. Tell me who yours are. Tell me who yours are. Or did you mean attacking midfielders as in just cams or like right attacking midfielder, left attacking midfielder? Did you mean like that? Or did you? I thought you meant attacking as in they're offensive minded. My fault. I think I misread the question. But they still probably could qualify for being answers. What's your thinking on USA next year World Cup? Let's win it, baby. There you go. There you go. It's only one thought. It's only one dream every person has for their national team. That is to win the World Cup. What better place? What better place? What better place? Um, what better place? But to win it on your home soil. Let me also, whoops. Let me put this in for us as well before. Let's see. McDermott, Norm, great jersey though. Thank you, Red Archer supporter. It is a cool jersey. That's the reason why I got it. I got it because I primarily got it because I wanted to have I I wanted to have I enjoy Bob Marley. So how about that? And it was a shout out to Bob Marley. And I thought it was super cool that it was super cool that they did something like that. And then for it to get let me look up why I got or what I'm doing. So I'm trying to look up why I got banned. It got banned. They can't wear this kit in games. So they can't wear this kit in games. I'm gonna see why. Let's see. Let me look up one more site here. Why did Bob Marley kit for Ajax get banned? All right, so officially, Ajax popular Bob Marley inspired third kit was banned by UEFA for European matches because the three little birds motif below the collar violated rules stating the collar zone must only contain team identification, not advertising or other symbols. The birds, though a beloved fan anthem, didn't count as official team ID, forcing Ajax to wear a modified version of this kit if they were to wear it. So, like I said, it had three little birds, like right on, where it says 97, for instance, or something like that. Like there was three little birds there to represent for Bob Marley, and that was something that they didn't allow. So yeah. That's fine. It's like whatever. Let's see. You want to do cams? You asked me. Cams. I would still go with Stevie G as my answer. Maybe like I still go with Coutinho, and I'll go with maybe Jan Mobley. I don't know. Who's your third? I'm not. I would love to put King Kenny there. I can say King Kenny too if you really want to be. I think of King Kenny more of out on the wing ish, but playing a 7 role. But you can go King Kenny too. Obviously, if King Kenny qualifies, I'll put him in as that. I'll put him into my top 3. How about that? Is that good? Is that good? All right, people. We're 15 minutes over what I was planning on doing for time today. But let me see. Let me make sure. While I'm here, I'm going to say who's winning AFCON. Egypt. Daz, Egypt is winning AFCON. I missed that question. Sorry. Egypt is winning AFCON. This is going to be, Egypt's going to win AFCON. Salah's going to get his swagger back. He's going to have the same arc of story that Mane had when Mane won it for Senegal. And he's going to come back. He's going to play the 10. Since he plays the 10 for Egypt, he'll come back and he'll play the 10 for us. All of a sudden, he'll be a facilitator. There'll be a new lease on life when it comes to his football life. That is for Salah and Liverpool, and it'll be water under the bridge. All that nonsense talk about Salah's washed, and there you have it. Boom, boom, boom. How about that? That's my prediction. And let's see. Is that shirt not a bit like a Mexico shirt? Ha! Don't go there, Norm. Do not go there. Do not go there. I don't know who is England's top rival internationally. Who is England's top rival internationally? I mean rival the same way we have a rivalry, between United and Liverpool or something like that, like as in the two sides do not like each other type situation. What team is it for England? Germany. Everyone's saying Germany. Okay. I got you. For us and for America, it is USA, Mexico, period. Like as in Canada, I get it. To all of our friends up north, big up to you. You've gotten the better of us in the last couple of runs. You've even snatched one of our coaches, our American-born coaches, and now he's your coach up north as well. And you're certainly building towards your lore and towards your connections to the game. I mean, you have to have connections. You got connections to the crown, of course. You got connections to England, but for here, it is a brutal rivalry between USA and Mexico, and it is ugly sometimes too. By the way, it's so ugly that I remember USA versus. So one of my best friends actually played on the team back in the day, and he was a part of the team that beat Mexico or it was a friendly, of course, but it was at Azteca, and it was a big deal because it was like one of the first times we won in Azteca, in Estadio Azteca, and it was a huge deal for us to win there because we usually don't, and we did that time. And I just remember I should have gone to the game, but I didn't, because when I was told where the seats are, like the American, like as in the seats, they put you in seats that there's like fencing with barbed wire at the top type thing. So like you're in, it's almost like I don't want to say prison and camp, but it's very close, very close to those settings, because like they don't want people going either. They don't want it's their version of the wall, I guess. They don't want people going over the wall. So because it gets ugly, bottles being thrown and stuff being tossed onto the pitch is bad enough, but you don't want to have it break out in the crowd. So like I know in Mexico City, it gets wild, and that's where as fans, that's where you sit. And I just didn't want to be in that environment. It's a legendary stadium, by the way. Legendary stadium, absolutely. It's where the World Cup is going to start, by the way, is in Mexico City. Mexico City will host the first game of the World Cup, and it will be at Estadio Azteca. Estadio Azteca. Oh, little Canada is always going to be our little brother. We will always son Canada. I don't care how you want it. But we will always son. They will always be our son. Maybe famous last words. I hope not. I hope not. France historically, then Germany. Lee Wiskes said for your rivals. I wonder if it really gets if it's that fierce of a interaction that you have to separate the fans. It gets back. 'Cause I mean, America too, especially one of the reasons why I've again I'll be landing. I know you guys probably didn't expect a World Cup talk in a Liverpool preview, so I won't talk about too much. But I was going to say real quick that it gets pretty incredible here in America. They have a good number of stadiums, especially the ones that are in the southern portions, and especially the ones on the western portion of the country, like California, here in Arizona, Nevada. Extremely heavy Mexican patronage towards the games. When you go to the games, it's almost like it's a Texas, especially. It's almost like it's a home game at times for Mexico on American soil. So you'll tend to see us will have those games. It ends up being, in my opinion, whether the U.S. men's or the U.S. Federation wants to do a money grab or wants to really have a concerted crowd of supporters for the national team at the game. So when we do, you'll see those games tend to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, or Minnesota, or I'm trying to think of some other places, odd places that we've had the games. You'll have them in states where the population isn't really so overweighted with the opportunity for that predicament to happen. So, and that's something that I'm behind. If we gotta do what we gotta do to win the game, we gotta do what we gotta do to win the game. All right. Enough talk about World Cup. I'm going to end the show here. I'm going to say thank you for joining us. I hope you guys have fun. It's Fridays, TGIF. I hope that you have a fantastic Friday and the rest of it. Like I said, if you can in the comments, tell me in total 22 players. There's only 17 on that list, but 22 players have played for both our clubs. 13 have done it in the Premier League era. Can you name the 13 players in the Premier League era for both Liverpool and Spurs, or for Reds and Spurs? Can you name all 13 players? That's my posing or outgoing trivia comment section for everyone to see if you can get that one. But this fixture never lacks any drama, but this time it carries certainly a lot more weight. For Frank, it's about survival. For Slot, it's about momentum. For us as Reds, it's about reminding the league that even wounded champions, and yes, hold your heads up, my Reds, even as wounded champions, we are still dangerous. And hopefully we can show such tomorrow, because Saturday night or Saturday evening, because I know it is an early, I think it's a 5 o'clock kickoff, I want to say, right? Big up, by the way. Big up Wolf in the house. Definitely. Big up. The prices on the tickets are absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, by the way. You're right about that. You're spot on about that. I'm hoping that because there's been such an outcry about it. I mean, I've seen Scott's. I've seen, like, I think the Scotland national coach say something to the lines of, don't end up breaking the bank to go and come watch us play in America. Don't spend the exorbitant amount for these tickets just to say you went to the World Cup. And I can agree with that completely. The prices have been exuberant. The markups for some of these prices, for some of these people that bought tickets and now are trying to make a penny off it, a big penny off of it, is even more salacious. So so yeah, I hope that everyone enjoys the games. I hope that you can get tickets whichever way you can, and not have to cause you to go bankrupt, or have to sell your house to like get to go see your club, see your nation play. But all eyes are on North London tomorrow. My eyes will be there too. We'll have a Reds roll call for tomorrow, so please join us for that. Another chapter waiting to be written, as always. They're struggling. Yeah, I'm sure some places are struggling, by the way. In trying to sell tickets, because the tickets are ridiculous. I put that in the clip I put in our group chat. I put a clip showing some of the different cities and the prices, because it depends on what stage you get. So like, prices for the latter stages, I think they're going to be they're going to be in New York. It's going to be like, like more like semifinals and finals. Those tickets are silly, absolutely silly. $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $8,000 for a seat. That's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I would hope that we would be able to do better for that. As someone that formerly affiliated person with FIFA, I know that the initiative has always been about football. At least it's always been really football first, but sometimes when you go higher up in the rankings of the administration, some of that gets lost in the fray, unfortunately. But big up to each and every one of you guys and gals, lads and lasses, I think it is, right? We will be back tomorrow with a red roll call. Please join us. Show some love. Peace and salutations to all. And as always, up the Reds each and every time. We will see you bright and early for some, or nice and happy and lazily in the afternoon for others, or even evening for others. And we will be there for you. And I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.